Welcome to TRS Clips, where you'll find happiness through your own curiosity. From my mom's side, her dad, his mom, her dad, his mom, and it goes back. So my maternal lineage, effectively, have worshipped a deity called Dattatreya.
Okay.
I believe people only know about Dattatreya in Maharashtra and Gujarat. And even now, after years of my Hanumanji worship and Shivji worship, and even a year after my Bhairav sadhana, where I'm chanting upon Om Bhairavaya Namah every day. That's my mala mantra. But if I'm ever in tension, my first instinct is Om Namo Dattaya. Because it's so hardwired in my head. All I have been told in my childhood is that it's a combination of Vishnu and Shiva. I have been told that it's one of those avatars which is both an avatar of Vishnu and of Shiva. That's all I know. And it has the energy which is a representation of the combination of the two energies. And that I can vouch for because I've felt it. Because I've chanted upon Om Namo Dattaya. I've meditated upon it since my childhood. I've had so many experiences of going to that temples. And you feel that combination of Vishnu and Shiva energy. Which is distinct for Hindus who have visited Vishnu temples like Krishna temples or Ram temples and Shiva temples. It's different energies. But in Datta Mandirs, you feel both together. That's all I know. And I know it takes me to some deep place when I meditate upon it. Can't say more than any words that I've already expressed in front of you. I know that you've linked it to Bhairav in one of your online explanations. But I'm going to tear down this explanation with you. I want to know everything. Because I would argue that, I mean, I don't like admitting this publicly, but I'm curious to know if Dattatreya is a deity that is becoming dormant or that is waking up out of dormancy. So, over to you.
Can you search for something here? Trishiro Bhairava.
Trishira Bhairava.
Three-headed Bhairava. Okay. This was one of the Bhairavas who was very popular in Kashmir. Extremely potent worship. 3 heads. Now look at this image.
Almost like a twin of Dattatreya.
Only thing is that the heads, if you look carefully on the left hand side, the head, it's more grotesque kind of fearful head.
On the
left hand side, right? You see that?
His right.
On his right. On his right. And here, I think it's the hands, arms are broken in this sculpture. So he'll have a skull in his hand. Okay. So Trishira Bhairava was one of the forms of Bhairava, very prominent and worshipped in Kashmir. As I say, Kashmir was the peak Bhairava Upasana place, and it produced tremendous amount of great scholars and saints and mystics and powerful acharyas. All somehow the other linked to Bhairava's blessing. Trishira Bhairava eventually, in my opinion, becomes Dattatreya later on. Okay, with some modifications. Modification kya hota hai? That the fearful head changes into the more Somya form. The skull changes from his hand because that gives him the more raw, the Bhairava energy remains very strong in that. Okay, so you remove it with Vishnu's energy. Okay, now this change is also because the deity allowed it. Do not think that somebody one day wakes up and suddenly changes and will respond. No. Somehow or the other, the deity allowed it, and that is why it has happened. Okay. So, Bhagavan Dattatreya has some similarities in this is what I'm talking to you is my opinion about it.
Sure.
So, it is not necessarily based on text or anything. Bhagavan Dattatreya has lot of similarities with Bhairava. One is that he is believed, for example, that he is immortal. Okay. Immortal fundamentally, but he is immortal at the same time. There is in Maharashtra, so Datta worship is quite common. Some of the texts are there. Some of the texts mention that in certain times of the day he is present at different places of India. Okay,
Dattatreya.
So he travels around India and he's at different times. He's at different places. Girinar mountains in Gujarat area is his abode. But he can travel in the blink of an eye. He can take any form and shape. He is Bhagavan almost. Okay, but he is immortal also, which means that his physicality is there. Now, when we are worshipping Bhairava, one of the first things I had mentioned and I tell people is that he responds fast compared to other devatas. So Bhairava is somewhere close to the physical plane. This is precisely what it means when we say that Dattatreya is immortal, which means he's very close to the physical plane. He will respond faster. Okay. Number one. Number two is that because of the Vishnu element that is there in Dattatreya, and we have a story of Dattatreya's birth from Rishi Atre and all that, and he's one of the brothers of Rishi Durvasa Dattatreya and all that. But these three heads are also the three gunas. So he is somebody who can handle all these Raja, Sattva, Tama, all the three gunas he can handle, and he becomes Trigunatita, beyond the three gunas. Okay, he is fundamentally an Avadut. Avadut is somebody who has gone beyond all niyamas and dharmas. All dharma, adharma ke bhi bahar pahunch gaya jo hai. That is an Avadut. And he is immortal. He's a god basically. He's not a human being who has become immortal. He is of divine birth and he is the physical manifestation of Parabrahma. Okay. Worship of Dattatreya is very popular in the RaaAZ Sampradayas. Apart from the worship that happens in say Maharashtra, in the local, in the families or etc. that happens. The Nath yogis worship Dattatreya a lot, specifically those in Western India. So they somehow or the other consider him to be the Adinath or the primary, the originator of the path. There is a famous Dattatreya Mala mantra, by the way, which is extremely potent. I won't mention it here. It's a long Mala mantra, means a mantra that's actually that some technical criteria is there, but it's more or less Mala mantras are always very long mantras, not small, very long. It could be 3-4 lines mantra, and inside it is contained a lot of his potencies and powers and his execution, what he does. Dattatreya has whole tantras dedicated to him.
So my mother is a Dattatreya Bhakt.
Okay.
And when we were kids, if me and my sister were very hyperactive at night, you know how there's lullabies? So my mom would sing us a Datta lullaby, which goes Jai Yogishwar Datta Daya. And that's the first line that I remember. And it goes into a long paragraph. And I know the tune of it, but I don't know the exact words. But I remember as a kid when she would sing it, because of course she was also singing from a place of bhakti, both of us kids would go into a bit of a trance and we would go to sleep in that trance. I'm using the word trance for a lack of a better word. It just triggered a memory.
So he is Yogeshwara and he responds fast, in my opinion. And without too much of complicated paddhatis, with certain degree of some amount of mantra and some amount of bhakti, if you club it together and you have genuine shraddha on him, some blessings can come from him. He is also worshipped as one of the gurus, eternal gurus. Okay, just like Bhairava is a guru of the tantric path, Dattatreya is also, Bhagwan Dattatreya is also considered as a guru. Okay, so these are his primary aspects. But when it comes to, if your question was, the second part was whether there's an awakening of Datta mantra, I don't know about that. I have no idea. I don't see anything more than what was already there, or any substantial dip also is not there. It's definitely not the way that Bhairava mantra has picked up.
For sure. Yeah. When I was growing up, there was actually a guru from his line of gurus, like Dattatreya's lineage. His name was Prem Avdut Guru Maharaj, and we used to call him Bapuji.
Okay.
And he didn't have too many followers actually, as compared to modern day popular gurus that you see. But I've grown up seeing Prem Avdut Guru Maharaj. You can pull up the image. His guru was someone called Rang Avdut Guru Maharaj. And these were, like, Rang Avdut Guru Maharaj was my Nanaji's guru. I would argue in many ways that Prem Avdut Guru Maharaj was my first guru in my childhood. And I remember being in the same room as him. The practice would be that he would come visit Mumbai. He would stay at my Nanaji's house. Few people would be called throughout the day. Maybe cumulatively 25 or 30 people, and we'd be amongst them. You would get 15 to 20 minutes to go into the same room as him and just have a conversation. And he would talk to you, listen to your problems. And then he would just request that you stay in silence with him and meditate with him. That's all. And then you would be politely asked to, like, leave the room. And that was my memory as a kid. But so much healing has happened in those sessions as a child. Like, that was where my theism woke up. My belief in God woke up. And I realized that There is a reality beyond me going to school and coming home and playing cricket. Can you type Rang Avdut Guru Maharaj? This is Rang Avdut Guru Maharaj. And his disciple, like his successor also as a guru was Prem Avdut Guru Maharaj. And currently there's no successor.
Okay.
Which is where my question originated. That is the deity going into a dormant state again?
No, you can't say from one lineage. No, I'm sure there are other lineages also.
There are offshoots. There are many branches.
Many branches, or there may be other Datta worshipping lineages. No, it's not like that. His worship, what I feel is that worship is it was always there and it is still there. It's not widespread across India, but in the places where Dattatreya Bhagavan is worshipped, is still worshipped.
Okay. Like my Nanaji is going to be really happy that we brought up his guru. I've never spoken about this, but probably this was my first image of guru or God. And eventually, even when I met you in life, when I was in my YSS and I was progressing, I think when you brought up practices and having physical gurus, I went back to my childhood, which is why I'm saying it wasn't just you who nudged me along the Bhairav path. It was something from my whole existence even before you. One last tangent on this Dattatreya conversation is I'd like for Atharv to pull up. Just type Dattatreya. There's dogs always around Dattatreya.
And Bhairav Baba is the other one who has dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs, cow.
Very, very similar to Bhairav, which again I tie together at age 30. This is perhaps the first one.
I feel that the kind of the energy of Bhagavan Dattatreya is almost similar to Bhairava, but slightly. Bhairav Baba का तो बहुत सारा रूप है. So which form you are taking? Say Kal Bhairav and all that is more aggressive form, more intense form. So this is the transformation that. So it is there in here. The fact that he holds a shank. And there is a part of Vishnu also, the Vaishnava Tilak. So Vaishnava Tilak means basically it's fit for a more domestication of the original fierce nature of the deity has happened.
Wow. Domestication of the fierce nature of the deity.
Yes, domestication is a process that happens in all tantras also, by the way. When that has happened, I mean, I feel that when I read that at the very old texts, absolutely raw. Okay, this has to be so dhire dhire the processes were curbed down and things like that, and a system of anukalpas came in. That's a kind of domestication of the anukalpa means substitute. So like I was explaining in that the Dakshinachara method of worship. So you don't use mantra paddhati is all same. Dakshinachara kriyas are all same. Only thing is that you do not use for example. You will not offer karan or alcohol to the deity. Instead, it could be something else. It could be water that is rose water or something like that. That's a substitute, anukalpa. So these are, for lack of better words, or this I may not be the right word, but sort of a domestication of the very fierce energy happens so that it's easy to connect for people at the home level.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic as long as you're willing to search for it.